Yeah, man, this is a straight-up steal for Carolina.
I think
to get
so
Sam
too.
Darnold
I couldn't agree more.
for a 2021 sixth-round pick and second and fourth-round picks in 2022.
Love it.
Wow, like that's straight-up theft on the part of Carolina, which I guess goes to show you that there wasn't much of a market. I mean, a second-rounder is pretty good, even if it's next year's draft. But I mean, he's going to be their presumptive starter. And Ian Rappaport mentions that the Panthers have been strong suitors for Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. We know that. But they pivot to Jets QB Sam Darnold, who now becomes their presumptive starter. Schefter said that the Jets and Panthers have been talking for weeks. Panthers' compensation kept creeping up and up and up to where it came today. And we also got a tweet from Diana Rossini saying that from her understanding, many inside the Jets building who want and wanted to keep Sam Darnold on the roster as the starter. That doesn't matter now, obviously. I just saw Josh McCown the other day that said that Darnold would have welcomed quote-unquote competition with the quarterback taken second overall. Not that it would have been a competition anyway. And Rossini goes on to say that Joe Douglas, of course, has the opportunity to pick his QB and drafted his own guy. So, not a shocker. Not a shocker.
Not a shocker. You know,
I'm just shocked
the only shock,
how cheap he came.
There we go. That's the shock, is that you got the worst thing, the most expensive thing you gave up was a second-round pick for Sam Darnold. So a 2, 4, and a 6 for a guy who was the third pick in the draft just a few years ago. And this is an instructive trade. Because we do this every draft. Every draft. I do it. You probably do it too. Get so excited about this new crop because it's new. And we love the draft. We're draft nerds. So you just want to get excited. Hey, these quarterbacks. Look at these quarterbacks. So you've got, Zach Wilson, and you've got Trevor Lawrence, and you got Justin Fields and Mac Jones. Okay, go back. Go back. Sam Darnold was that guy. Nice, hey. Now you're moving on. Like it's no big deal. Like it stinks. Are you trying to say you've been saying that all along?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I believe it was Friday when we talked about this throw against San Francisco. I know it's one play. And I know there's a million plays where you scratch your head with Sam Darnold. I get it. I get the turnover bug as bothered him since he was at SC. And he's turned it over a lot in the NFL. But his talent is undeniable. And so is my logic. My logic is undeniable when I say that I thought that the best move for the Jets, clearly they disagreed, and obviously that's their prerogative and they get paid to do it. I thought the best move for the Jets was to keep the guy who's shown that talent in flashes, but has not been surrounded by the best supporting cast. But listen, that ship has sailed.
Great run.
That ship has sailed. They've clearly said, hey, we're in the Zach Wilson business. Nobody's shocked by this. Wilson had been projected to go to the Jets in literally every mock draft that you saw. Now it's confirmed that it's going to be Lawrence, it's going to be Wilson. The question at 3 becomes, is it Fields? Is it Mac Jones? Because now that Carolina is out of the quarterback business, thinking that Teddy Bridgewater wasn't good enough, poor Teddy Bridgewater, I think gets a bad rap, and going for a reclamation project, if you will, in Sam Darnold. Carolina at 8 is now out of the quarterback business. I've seen reports that the Falcons are naturally entertaining the possibility of trading down. Who knows if they go quarterback or they take best available at 4. So, and then obviously the Bengals are in the market for a quarterback. The Dolphins are not in the market for a quarterback. The Lions don't appear to be in the market for a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
So it could get interesting as we get closer to the 9th, 10th, 11th picks and to see if there's some movement for whoever's left.
Well, you know what? Well,
like,
Mike.
Does a team like the Patriots do they? Hey, listen, the Eagles are like, wait, we're not in the market for a quarterback. What if there's somebody at 12 that they can't pass up?
Exactly.
You know? And the Patriots at 15, somebody might fall in their laps, Michael. You said you didn't see them trading up for somebody. We talked about the mock draft last week.
And the Broncos too?
It could. I mean, how committed are they to Drew Lock? I don't know. How committed should they be to Drew Lock?
But
It's a
see,
different conversation.
I think it's these spots. I think 5 quarterbacks are going. You don't know who's going to take them. All right, we already got 2 off the board. So 2 quarterbacks off the board. You got Lawrence gone. Lawrence 1, Zach Wilson.
I think it's safe to go 3.
And 3.
I think it's safe to
So you got 3 off the board. 49ers at 3. I don't know if it's going to be Mac Jones or Justin Fields or who else. I don't know. But it's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you got 3 off the board. And if the Falcons trade out, they're probably trading out with somebody who's going to take
That's
a quarterback.
probably a quarterback. Yeah. Or they may stay and take a Kyle Pitts.
And the Panthers could also, they could be committed to a guy who falls to them, a non-quarterback who's going to be a great player. Or some team says, hey, we still see a guy on the board. Carolina, you got your guy in Sam Darnold. We want number 8. We'll come in, do business with you. And then theoretically, you might have
another hot spot.
Your 5 quarterbacks could be gone in the top 8, which is unreal. 5 in the top 8.
I mean, and that's conservative. That's actually conservative. It's actually conservative, I would say, because it could be 6 or 7. I mean, who knows? Who knows? The Dolphins decide to move out again and say, hey, you know what? There's the run on quarterback started at the top. You know, look at them. They're panicking. They're panicking.
Look, the draft. Look,
you know what I mean? It's like
anybody. So great.
It could be. It's a seller. These picks are a seller's market right now. It's like if you up there, your phone's probably gonna be ringing off the hook at starting with Atlanta at 4. Hell, even Cincinnati at 5. Maybe Cincinnati says, you know what? You know, we'll go ahead and we love Jamar Chase. And Cincinnati is typically not a mover and a shaker in the draft, but then be like, yo, we love Jamar Chase. We love Penei Sewell. Let's drop down a couple of spots because somebody wants to get the last of the big 5 quarterbacks. Or you know what I mean? Who knows? You know,
this is so.
But
it's so much.
I like this trade for Carolina. I like this trade for Carolina a lot. I really do because I still think Sam Darnold. I think he'll be Ryan Tannehill. He'll be the Panthers with Ryan Tannehill is to Tennessee. Somebody that, and Ryan Tannehill was better in Miami than people remember, but he obviously wasn't as great as he is in Tennessee. I don't think we've seen the best of Sam Darnold. I don't think he's a bust. I think he was in a bad situation. And, man, Matt Rule in that offense with Christian McCaffrey and those receivers, who knows who they get at 8 to support Sam Darnold now.
Yeah, it's a good situation. Man. I think it's a good situation for Sam Darnold. I really do. And I think it's going to be good this whole draft before the draft, because the draft has begun. It has. It's already started. It's supposed to start
it kind of
April
has,
29th
right?
officially.
It kind of has.
It's already started. April 5th. Yeah. We're on the clock.
Yeah.
All right. San Francisco, you're on the clock right now. And they may say, no, we're not on the clock because we're off the clock. We already picked our guy. So Atlanta,
right.
Atlanta, you're on the clock right now with this draft. But you know what's so funny?
The draft starts at 4. You're right.
Somebody is just going to sit there. I can't wait until we figure it out a year from now, 2 years from now. Somebody's sitting there saying, thank God we don't need a quarterback because I got the best player in the draft. I would like to see, this is what I'd like to do. I would just like to take a poll of 15 teams. Now, okay, I'll make it even. I'll say 16. 16 teams, half the league, and say, give me your top, regardless of position, give me your top 5 prospects. And I wonder if I could come to a consensus. Like who the best player is in the draft. I'm not sure Trevor Lawrence is the best player in the draft. He's the best quarterback, theoretically. But somebody's going to get the best player in the draft, and they might wind up getting him at 10 or 7. It's amazing.
That's how it works. That's how it works. You know what's funny?
But more so lately, I think we're guilty of, I think analysis has gone too far. It's over analyzing prospects.
Quarterbacks in particular?
And just kind of drilling this statement. It's like you hear an obvious statement so much that you start to do things that aren't smart. Yes, I agree. Mike Smith, I agree here on April 5th that quarterback is the most important position in football and in sports. I agree. But I'm not about to invent one. I'm not about to be Eddie Murphy's daughter and imagine that and just kind of like draw a quarterback up and have it come to life.
This is hilarious to me for a couple of reasons. One, so literally on Friday, I was talking about this. And I was like, everybody gets excited about the shiny new toys because the Buzz Lightyears, if you will, because all you seen him is ball out in college. When we just saw with the Carson Wentz trade that nobody drafted in the first round is with their original team since 2016 at the quarterback position. Any quarterback drafted since 2016 in the first round, not with their original team. So as much as we think these guys are, or talk about these guys like they're sure things, history tells us that they're anything but, right? So that's what I was saying about Sam Darnold with the Jets. It's like I get the fascination with Zach Wilson, but it's like Darnold, you're not going to tell me Zach Wilson is that much more talented than Sam Darnold. Clearly the Jets disagree, or maybe it's just a matter of, hey, we want our own guy. We didn't draft this guy, we want our own guy. We're going to start fresh. Okay, that's fine too. Whatever floats your boat. What I'm laughing about, though, is just the other day, Michael, a friend of mine on Twitter, and I every now and then I'll check Twitter. Every now and then I try to steer clear of it as much as I can. But somebody said, why are you so sure that Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields? And I responded, I'm not. Michael Holley told me he is. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I sit next to him every day. I mean, it's drilled into my head. It's just drilled into my head at this point. And so another exchange I had was about Cincinnati. You're talking about best player in the draft. The thing that we always got to remember, too, is that the draft, we focus on one round. The draft is more than one round. And so Cincinnati, for example, is not like, oh, you have to make a choice between Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. You have to make a philosophical choice. I saw this little cute drawing going around on social media where it's like Joe Burrow on his back with anybody in front of him, a stick man or anybody in front of him, and Jamar Chase is standing there in the distance. And then there's another one, comparison, like Joe Burrow standing upright with Penei Sewell in front of him and anybody at wide receiver, if you could visualize what I'm saying. I'm like, it's not, you don't have to choose one or the other because the draft is more than one round. You could pick Jamar Chase in the first round and build the offensive line in the second round and beyond. Or it stands to reason, you could pick Penei Sewell in the first round, and if you think that the wide receiver position is in fact deeper, and pick receivers later. You can't go wrong with just your first pick, but people look at just the first round and want to grade a draft. The dumbest thing going is draft grades after round one. And they actually do that. Like,
or draft
grades after the first round. It's like, how can you can't grade a draft till 5 years out or a few years out. But you for damn sure can't do it before you see the full picture of the draft. So. But listen, Sam Darnold, fresh start, good spot. Jets, a new day. I'm sure Jets fans everywhere are super excited. They got clarity. If nothing else, we got some clarity with two quarterback situations. So,
or do you feel like it's do you feel like which guy San Francisco is going to take at 3? We know they're going to take a quarterback. Obviously, they already told us that because they had a conversation with Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think it's Mac Jones?
Who they want a first-round pick for? Sidebar. Who they claim to be a first-round pick with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Come on, man.
Sorry, it just made me laugh.
It is funny. It should make you laugh.
Of course, I don't know who the 49ers would take. If I were the 49ers, I would take Justin Fields. They seem to be enamored with Mac Jones. But that's just me. Maybe it's a smokescreen. Maybe they're sending, but there's no reason to smoke screen anything when you're third and you already know who's going 1 and 2 for the most part. Or
you already got it.
Shocker at 2. Yeah, so there's no reason to smoke screen anything. They seem to be zeroed in on Mac Jones. So somebody's gonna get a steal in Justin Fields. Either the Falcons will go ahead and heir apparent to Matt Ryan, somebody will go up to 4 and get him. I'm still rooting for him to end up with the Patriots. You wanna take another break and switch gears after this?
Yeah, we can do that. And I'll say, hey, the Patriots have the capital to do it. Do they love one of those guys? They love one of those because if Mac Jones is gone, let's say Jones is gone, Now you got Fields and Lance on the board out of the Big Five. The Patriots love one of those guys enough to go up to number 4 to get him. Now that would be fun. AFC East might turn into the best division of football.